So guys, I'm switching up a little bit. I feel like YouTube as a creative outlet is great. It allows people to express how they feel really easily. But what I really wanted to be able to do was express myself in like a long form, explainer type video. Now, obviously your first thought is like, obviously you can do that on YouTube, but I felt like for me, unless it was in like a podcast setting like this, I wouldn't be able to actually dive deep into my thoughts. More of a raw, uncut version of me rather than like a highly edited version of me. Obviously, I'm looking at notes because I can't remember that many words, but I want to actually dive into topics that I basically give a shit about. And I feel like YouTube's more of like a snapshot of what's going on. This will be kind of a raw version of what I'm actually feeling like at the time. So I want to talk about topics like self-improvement, fitness, men's health, and kind of all the other things that come under that. I think this is super important because, as a man, especially in this day and age, I'm assuming it was probably the same in every generation, but in this day and age right now, obviously that's the only time I can talk about. I think it's super important to try and be a voice to the peers around you and to, it sounds it sounds crazy to say this now, but trying to be a role model for the people around you. Now, I think I'm a bit early to say that. I think I can act as a role model and be like an example, but I think like an actual role model, I think I'm a bit early for that. But I think I think it would be good for me to try and use this outlet to try and become a role model for the people that's watching it, for my clients, for the people around me, for my friends, for my family, for Molly, for James, for everyone. And I hope they will be the same for me too. That's why they're in my circle. And something that I've realized recently is like the greatest feeling you can get as a human being is giving back and being a servant to the people around you. So this is kind of what this is as well, is me kind of offloading my thoughts, my feelings, and hopefully you can get a decent amount of information from that as well. So yeah, this is the medium that I'm going to be going through. Obviously I started the YouTube, got a couple videos in, and I kind of just didn't really care about the outlet itself. I didn't really care about the medium that I was using. I thought it was a bit too edited, a bit too not really me. And, I was properly scripting bits of text to say I was being maybe more of a heightened version of myself. And that's not necessarily what I want to portray. I want to be able to show you guys who I actually am. And yeah, this is it basically. So the first point I wanted to go through was my parameters of success, or what success looks like for me, or kind of the checklist that I will be going through in my head and on paper every single day to decide, yes, I have reached where I want to be, or no, I haven't reached where I want to be, basically. This kind of came about, which was, it was a bit crazy to be honest. I had an eye operation, if you didn't know, a couple of weeks ago. And I guess the backstory is I've got keratoconus, which is a condition in your eye where the cornea is kind of like, say your cornea is usually like a dome like this. Mine was more like that, by the way. I went bloody mountain biking yesterday and fell into a tree, which is not ideal. So that's not great. But yeah, anyway, back to the point. I've got an eye condition called keratoconus. So this means that my cornea is more of a dome, or was more of a dome, or a kind of a peaked dome rather than a nice smoothed out dome. Now this obviously causes light to refract in my eye. So when light comes into your eye, it kind of goes like this. Mine just didn't go the right way basically. So it meant I couldn't see properly. So I had this operation. They scraped off the top of my eye, remolded my cornea, and the operation went great. I've got new eyes, but the recovery process was savage. Not just painful, not just I couldn't look at light like this. Like me 2 weeks ago, I would have had to have a hat on, glasses, a hood over my head, and I barely would have even been able to see. It would have been very painful to look at light. So I was kind of plummeted into darkness for around 4 days until I could kind of go outside more, which kind of helped the situation, obviously. Sunlight is super important, as you know. But yeah, I was plummeted into darkness physically, and this also forced me mentally into darkness too. Now, that sounds deep, but it was a good thing and a bad thing. I was excited for this period of time, and I was also really nervous about this period of time. But weirdly enough, they kind of fell into the same category of feelings in terms of how I was feeling about them. I was excited about having the time off from work. I work ridiculous amount of hours. Something I definitely struggle with is turning off. So this was a great time for me to turn off. But also I was, scared about being in my own thoughts, I guess. Like, I guess everyone is. If they're a bit of a workaholic, they kind of use that as a vice to stay away from their thoughts, I guess. And like on top of that, I was excited to have the time to journal and strategically plan for the next few months or years ahead. But I was also nervous about not being able to use work, gym, running, etc., as a vice to get momentum and to get validation and that feeling of accomplishment. So that's kind of like how I was feeling going into this period of time. So a bit of an emotional mixed bag, to be honest. And coming out of it now, in hindsight's 2020, as we know, boys. But coming out of it, it was a very, very, very important time of my life, to be honest. And this now kind of explains why. So one thing that I came out of the darkness with was, that sounds crazy saying that, doesn't it? But it's actually so true. I literally was in the dark for fucking like 4 days. Missed muscle, come on. Shooting 7 weeks. I'm going to do an update on that at some point as well. I think me and James will probably do an update on that. But yeah, I came out of the darkness with my parameters of success, as I mentioned. And they are as follows. Obviously, I wrote them down here because I'm still trying to learn them. Because they're quite long-winded. Oh, James, fuck off, mate. I'm trying to film. So number 1, space and time to think, be creative, and allow my dreams to come into fruition. So allow my dreams to come out of my head, come out of my body, come out of the brainstorm, and enter real life, essentially. So that's number 1. Number 2 is pursuits in life that seem challenging and laborious for others, but for me, they're blissful play. Okay? Number 3, a story so potent, it fuels my kids' wildest ambitions, and I'd probably add to that, a story so potent, it fuels my peers and the people around me and my circle's ambitions as well. And I will touch on these points in more detail, but I'm just running through them quickly now. Number 4, peak physical and mental health, obviously. Number 5, complete ownership of my time. So I'm not asking for much, am I? Christ. So yeah, these are the things that I'm aiming for right now. I literally spent a day, like with my hood up, with my glasses on. This was probably like day 3 or 4, so I could write on paper. I could have a little bit of light in the room, like this would be way too bright. I could have basically the blinds drawn and like residual light creeping through, like the door and the curtains or whatever. But anything more than that would just give me headaches. But yeah, I came to this after about a few hours of just thinking about it. And they all started much longer as well. But I thought, I need to refine these, I need to make them actionable or smart. Which everyone says, back in my GCSE PE days. Wow. I imagine people actually still talk about SMART goals. Make it out of the books. So yeah, let's run through them. So number 1, space and time to think. what I realised when I plummeted into the abyss of my head is that when you're left with time to think and you're left with the idea of just getting bored, you think of your best ideas. Now, I think this is already really a known thing, to be honest. I think I probably knew it too, but I had to get plummeted into that darkness to realise it big time. When you're so wrapped up in your day-to-day of working, gymming, running, socialising, dinners, everything, you're so occupied with your thoughts, you're so occupied with the micro interactions of your day and the micro progressions of your day, micro regressions of your day, thoughts and feelings, you kind of don't allow yourself to be in your head. You're very external. You're reacting to things in life. You're, waiting for a meeting. You're waiting for a bus. You're waiting for a date. You're waiting for dinner. I took all the waiting out completely. I wasn't waiting for anything. I had no kind of next step. My next step was just to sit there and just think. So this really forced my brain to think outside the box and think outside the parameters of my normal mind. And I feel like sometimes, you do just kind of get lost in the source of the day and the kind of general operations of life. So now I think probably I'm gonna have time, maybe once a year, where I take myself on holiday or I go on maybe like a staycation, like a little retreat somewhere. Don't bring my laptop. Take it off as just not working, and just use that time to think, because I came up with some great ideas and I've set my next few months up really, really, really well. And to me, that's a great use of my time. That's a great ROI of my time. Because when you actually step back and kind of like push back, you have space to breathe. And then all the thoughts can come rushing in, essentially. So, for example, one of the ideas that I expanded on when I had that time to think was this business idea that I want to do at some point. This ties in very closely to Platinum, actually, which is cool. It's going to be like a co-working space, networking area. It would probably be in Bristol, to be fair. I don't really know. Haven't really thought about it too much. I've definitely thought about it though, as I've mentioned. But it's going to be, I think I'm going to call it Work Block. I think that's a pretty cool name, because it's people go there to do work blocks, and it will be a work block. It will be a block of people working. But it'll be gym. It'll be like a decent gym, which people can get lifts in, film content, etc., etc. Do like client meetups, run PT sessions if they're a PT, etc., etc. There'll be co-working spaces, so offices. There'll be podcast studios. There'll be creative rooms. There'll be rooms you can book out. There'll be hot desks, and anything else that I can put in there to facilitate growth. I want people to come here. I want people to kind of get the same sort of feeling as I got when I went into the darkness. You know what I mean? You can kind of go in, let ideas come to fruition, let ideas boil up in your head, let them boil over and spill over, and kind of let them come to life, and use the tools in that work block to allow them to come to life. Originally in my head, when I first came up with this idea, to be fair, I feel like everyone wants this. It's like a. I don't know if anyone knows, like old MTV. I think it was MTV, but Rob Dyrdek. He had the Fantasy Factory. This is exactly the Fantasy Factory, but for entrepreneurs. Like, that's what I want it to be. So I think it'd be so sick. I honestly think it'd be so sick. And also, originally I was just going to do it as like a little like solo project. So I would have just like a massive warehouse at the back of my future home. But I think it would be way better to do it slap bang in the middle of a city, and to invite people over. They can pay like a small membership so we can keep it running. Or I'll somehow make it profitable, because why not? And yeah, that was the idea basically. But I was only able to expand on that idea because I had time to think. I wouldn't have been able to expand on that idea if I was in my usual 14, 15 hour work day. Like, I just wouldn't have the time to think. I'm so preoccupied doing other things, so it's sick. Number 2, pursuits in life which seem challenging and laborious to others, but they're blissful play to me. Now, I think this point kind of gives me a weird sense of freedom. Now, I think it's more important for you to focus on, or essentially take out the middle bit. So I would focus on just pursuits in life which are blissful play. I think that's way more accurate. I think it's important to think about this in this way. The man who loves walking will get further and walk further than the man that just loves the destination. I believe that's the saying. When you love your pursuits in life, when you love your creative outlets, your recreational activities, your professional pursuits, you will do them and enjoy them for much, much longer. You won't work a day in your life if you enjoy your work. You won't feel like you're getting dragged to football training if you really love football, or you won't feel like you're getting dragged to the gym if you really love gym. So it's important to find a deep sense of satisfaction and love in those pursuits. And that's what I'm trying to work towards. So my work I love at the moment, which is great. I think I always will do as well. Obviously I can't speak for my future self, but I definitely do think I will love it for the rest of my life. And I think that the opportunities and pursuits that I'm going to be going into soon, I will also love a lot. Gym, loving at the moment, obviously in a big push for this Marbella shoot with James in 7 weeks. New low weigh in this morning actually, 76, fucking hell, 79.6 kilos. I'm fucking 76, man. I look like I'll be dick skin at that point. Yeah, so 79.6 kilos this morning, getting shredded to the bone. You know the deal, boys. You know the deal. And then after that, obviously we've got the marathon in December. So that pursuit is really, really exciting for me, and it's given me a lot of purpose, and it's made it blissful play. It's made it easy to do. So yeah, that's basically what I mean about that. So like, I guess another thing on the coaching and making it blissful play is like, we're building a group of killer lads in the community, in the Platinum community. And that's one of the things that both James and I know I can speak for James in this, it's one of the things that James and I are really fired up about, is having that community of like-minded individuals, having that group of lads which we can be a voice for, a peer for, a role model for. This kind of goes back on my previous point, being a role model for, and, you know, offloading as much information, bringing them together, you know, doing big client meetups. We've got a big client meetup in May where a bunch of the clients are coming over to Oxford. We're all meeting in Oxford, going for a gym session, getting them food, you know, etc., etc. It's gonna be sick. This is all part of the blissful play, you know what I mean? This is allowing me to really enjoy work and get a lot out of work. And, you know, it kind of drips into everyone else as well, which is pretty cool. So, number 3, the deep one, which I really love this one. I think this is like one of the best things I've thought about in a while. A story so potent it fuels my kids' wildest ambitions. And I would also expand that to my peers, the people around me, Molly, James, etc., etc. Like my closest friends, my family, you know. Being the light in people's lives, and kind of being that person that gives that energy to make people switch in their head from going from like a defeated mindset to more of like a motivated, momentum set mindset is like, I think that's sick. You're literally changing someone's life. And I want to be that person that gives off that energy to allow people to progress in life, rather than having like a cynical energy. Like, that's the complete opposite, obviously, and I never want to be like that, and I never will be like that. But I guess that's just trying to show the contrast. So there's one person which will have, you know, a lot of cynical energy. They will drag people down. Is it called tall poppy syndrome? Where like if someone sees someone growing, they'll just cut them down. Basically, that's not what I want to be. I want to be the person that lifts people up. I want to be the person that, I guess this ties into the previous goals, is being the person that can be the light in people's life and be the main motivator in their life. And yeah, I just want to be that person that, drives that infectious energy for them to do something great. And I think I'm doing that quite well at the moment, but there's definitely some more I could be doing. 4, peak physical and mental health. So, I mean, I could talk about this for ages, but what it boils down to is 2 things. It is setting the tone and being the standard for my clients and the people around me, and also pursuing the journeys which seem impossible or really challenging. So this also ties into the previous points. So I guess pursuing the journeys is going to be the photo shoot in June, which I'm getting shredded for at the moment. The diet is strict, like it is strict, but that's what's needed to get that lean. So cut out alcohol completely, really focusing on sleep. Training is through the roof, doing loads of cardio, in a big deficit, hitting that deficit every single day without fail, no cheat meals, etc., etc. It's tough. Like, it's not how you should be living every single day, but to get these, above average goals, you need to do above average things, essentially. So that is where I'm at with that section. And also, after the shoot, we'll get into some pretty strict marathon prep. And after the marathon, who knows what will happen. I've been thinking about potentially doing an ultra. James and I might do a Hyrox doubles, although we're not really too keen on that. May even just enter a really long lean bulking phase and get ready for another shoot, maybe even next year. But consistently having those pursuits is really important. Also, the first point, setting the tone for my clients and being the standard for the people around me. You don't want to be that person that just like eats like shit, doesn't train, slobs about, and isn't that light for people. Again, tying into my previous point, I feel like all these goals tie into each other really well. I'm so good, aren't I? Christ. But yeah, I think this all ties in nicely with Nick Bear's quote, the owner of BPN Supplements. He always says, go one more. Now this ties into both those points. Go one more for yourself, for your physique. Go one more for your goals. Go one more for your clients and the people around you. And that will set the tone and that will motivate them to do more. 5, complete ownership in my time. This one I really like as well. Now this doesn't necessarily mean complete freedom with my time. I don't want complete freedom with my time because I think that would just drive me mental. But I want to be able to say that every single minute of my life, I'm doing something that I want to do. Now, I've definitely struggled with this in the past, saying yes to things I don't really want to do, but it was just fear of letting the person down. So I want to get to a point in my life, which I definitely am moving to. This year has been big steps towards that. Saying no to things I just don't want to do, and not being concerned, worried about what that decision means to that other person, because really it only really matters what it means to you. Being able to be in a position where every single moment of my day and every single decision I make, I'm making because I want to make it rather than because someone else wants to make it. So for example, I stopped drinking. When did I stop drinking? I actually have a app, DaySense. So we are 49 days and 7 hours without beer. Well, without drinking in general. And don't get me wrong, I love going out with my boys, I love having a drink, etc., etc. But at the moment, it's not the decision I want to make. It's not what I want to do. I've got bigger goals that require me to not drink. So the shoot requires me to not drink. I'm really trying to push the business at the moment. And other projects which require my full attention. And if I'm getting bevved on Friday and Saturday and I'm just hungover and I'm not productive, I don't want to work, and then the Monday, Tuesday after, like, it's written off really. Like, my mind's in the bin, I can't concentrate, I can't be productive. So at the moment, drinking is not on the cards. Will I drink again? Yes, I will drink again because I enjoy drinking with my friends. I enjoy going out. I enjoy having a cocktail with Molly. I enjoy going out with Molly and having some wine. I like going on holiday and having an Aperol spritz. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy these things. But at the moment, it doesn't align with my goals, and it's not a decision I want to make. So that's why I'm not making it. So yeah, if I can get to a point in life where I can say, yeah, these 5 things, yeah, I think I've done them. Like, if I can wake up in the morning and have a coffee at the, guys, I've been showing the wrong side the whole time. The Mr. Strong mug. Oh, that's good. That's good beans. Yeah, if I can get to a point where I can sit down, I can step outside, I can see my fancy factory. Nah, only joking. It's going to be in the city. I can wake up. I can, go to the work block. I can see people mingling. I can see people growing. I can see people in the gym, smashing the gym. I can see people feeding off each other's energies. I'm in peak physical and mental health. I have complete ownership of my time. I'm doing exactly what I want to do when I want to do it. I can see people getting fueled by my story and fueled by my ambition and drive. Like, I feel like I'll be in a great place. I feel like I can, in my head, I'll be like, yeah, fair. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this one. I don't know how long these are going to be, to be honest. I'm just going to chat to you, and they are however long they are. There's no rules. So yeah, thanks for watching. And yeah, that's literally it. Bye.